You don't even know what critical race theory means. How do you define critical race theory? How do you even know what CRT is? If you've been alive for the last 24 months, you've probably heard one of those statements. And for the most part, it's meant to stop conversation and stop discord. Well, how do you define critical race theory? As soon as you define it, somebody's going to say, well, that's not how I define it. That's not how I use it. That's not how I apply it. And then the wheels on the bus fall off. So I have actually stayed away from defining critical race theory and wokeism as a whole. I I don't do it. I just tell people all the time, tell me how you apply your understanding of critical race theory or wokeism. It's pretty simple from there to see the errors and the problems in how they apply it. So for example, how do you apply critical race theory to school system? Well, black kids should not be graded the same way as white kids. There you go. Problem solved. We already know what you're doing now. So you're giving unequal weights and measures. You're assuming that black kids can't perform at the same level as other people groups, those kind of things like that. So it's really easy from there. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to explain why I don't generally use the definitions for critical race theory. I don't give one for the most part, but then also I'm gonna give some definitions for critical race theory. I think it'd be useful as we're moving forward in this, and as CRT and wokeness is starting to take new forms and new shapes. I think it'd be good for us to kind of look at this is where y'all are heading, and I thought it would be good to do that. So let's just talk about it right off the bat. Critical race theory. What in the world is it, Jason? And why don't you define it? The reason I don't define critical race theory is I found that if you ask 10 people, you're going to get 12 different definitions. So from the early onset, I stopped trying to define what critical race theory is. And I just ask more questions because people may very well not fully understand critical race theory themselves. And I know that to be a fact, that most people don't understand what CRT is. They don't understand its Marxist upbringing. They don't understand where it's heading as an ideology, where it's morphing into and what its final form will be. So me sitting here defining it today doesn't matter because tomorrow it could be something else. And 2 days ago, it was something else. I don't generally even waste my time doing that. As I gave an example earlier, I just ask questions. So tell me how you apply, what's your understanding of hiring a white man and a black man when both of them are equally qualified? It's very easy. They're going to give me some kind of answer. They're going to give me some kind of song and dance. And it'd be very easy to see that you're showing partiality to one person or the other based upon a whole bunch of externals that are not biblical. And ultimately, I want to bring back the conversation to what is a biblical argument and help people see where they're off in their theology, because ultimately that's what matters to me. And so let's just look at it real quick. This is the passage I always talk about. I cause a lot of stir when I say there is no such thing as races. You do realize that God didn't make multiple races. Now there's different ethnic groups and there's different cultures and there's different societies, but we're all the same people. That's it. I've just been blessed with a lot of melanin. Somebody watching this video may not have been blessed with a lot of melanin. That's just it. There's nothing different between my neighbor next door here, my neighbor next door there, and us. There's nothing. Nope. They are white. I am highly melanated. That's it. There is no difference. Well, Jason, you're just doing some word gymnastics. Well, let's just see what the scriptures say. So this is Paul at the Areopagus, and this is Acts chapter 17. As I always say, please make sure you read the entire passage, and I'll make sure I put the Bible verses that we're going to be looking at down in the description below. And I'm going to jump down to verse 26. I'm going to jump to verse 25. Just to get a running start, but please read the whole thing. And it just simply says as follows: nor is he served by human hands as though he needed anything, since he himself gives to all mankind life and breath and everything. And he made from one man every nation of mankind to live on all the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and boundaries of their dwelling places. It's really clear here. Paul's making it extremely clear that there's not multiple races. Now, again, we can say that there are multiple cultures and ethnicities and such of that nature, and that is true. However, the idea and the notion that there's a different people group or there's a different that the less melanated are a different people than the highly melanated or the middle melanated or anything else of that nature is a false nomer. It's a lie. Now, the reason I bring that up is because now what we're talking about, we're not talking about races, we're talking about ethnicities, we're talking about cultures. And yes, there are differences and there are problems between ethnicities and cultures and it's such of that nature. No problem there. No argument for me at all. But to say that there's different races, there's a problem. Now, why am I making so much hay about that? Well, the reason I'm doing that is because what we're showing when we have differences between ethnicities and cultures is partiality. It is a showing that your externals or something about you externally or where you were raised or where you're geographically where you're from, all that kind of good jazz is why I'm looking at you differently. That's partiality. Sorry. So if we deal with it according to what scripture teaches, aka dealing with partiality, as it talks about in James, then we don't do it. It's really that easy. And we're going to get into a lot more and discuss what in the world is critical race theory from its own definition from its major pontificators. And then we're going to compare that to what scripture actually teaches. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. So even in the critical race theory sphere, they don't all accept everything. So if I gave a definition today, again, as I gave my example earlier, if you ask 10 people, you can get 12 different definitions.